Hi everyone. I just wanted to share what happened to me the other day, which I thought was really weird. I found this photograph and I was really quite pleasantly surprised. And I don't know whether you can see it, but that's the photo I saw. And I'd love to know what you think, whether you think I look ugly in that. Because I thought, wow, I'm really surprised. I actually look quite beautiful there. And I know it sounds really weird that I'm that shocked by it, because clearly I'm not that ugly in that photo. But on that day, I just felt really ugly. It was one of those days where I went to this event actually, and I was surrounded by all these gorgeous, young, successful women. And I just suddenly felt really middle-aged and really frumpy. I live in Hong Kong, so any ounce of humidity, frizzy hair, and I felt like I was having the frizziest hair day, and I just felt really just frumpy and middle-aged. And it was really weird because on that day, when we were leaving, one of the women there randomly just said to me in the lift, "You're really beautiful." And I was completely surprised then as well. And I didn't believe her, but I said to her, "Gosh, thank you so much. I really, really needed to hear that today," because I did. I really needed to hear that on that day because it was one of those days where I just felt hideous. And so when I saw that photo and I thought, gosh, I look quite beautiful, I thought, it's weird perception, isn't it? It's like that dress that went viral on the internet where some people saw it as blue and grey and other people saw it as yellow and gold and white. It was gold and white, people, trust me. But you know what I mean? That perception that some people saw it as one thing and other people saw it as another. Well, that's what I was doing. I was seeing something that photo had captured of me that day that I just couldn't see and I didn't feel on that day. It's sort of like, I guess, when you look back at photos of yourself when you were younger and you are never as fat or unattractive as you thought you were when you were young. God, beauty is so wasted on the young. It's really weird. And what it comes from is it's that internal story that we tell ourselves. We all have this story and an inner dialogue, and it can impact on our lives in a really negative way. For me, when I was young, that internal story I had was that I was not good enough. I was not good enough. I wasn't lovable. I wasn't worthy. And the way that impacted on me is I ended up staying in an abusive relationship because I felt I wasn't good enough. I believed that nobody else would want me. I accepted that I was to blame for the abuse and I felt that I deserved it. And so you can see how much of an impact that can have on your life, just telling yourself you're not good enough. And when we're in abusive relationships, our perceptions can also fail us in the way we perceive them because we only see that good side. We completely minimize and deny the bad. And even when they've hurt us or abused us, we still forgive that. And because we're always wanting to find that good side, that perception that we have of them, that they really are good. They didn't mean to be abusive. If only we change our behavior and make them happy, do this or that to change our behavior and keep them happy, then we can get the person we really think they are to come back and the abuse to go away. But it's a false perception. It's like you perceiving yourself when you're young. It's a false perception. So what I would suggest is if you want to stop perceiving an abusive relationship in the wrong way and having it impact on your life, and to stop perceiving yourself in the wrong way, I would say these 4 tips. One is stop projecting onto other people, particularly the person who's abusing you, who you think they are. Instead, just be still and observe and watch, listen to what they say, and also watch what they do. If what they say is in line with their actions, so if they say, I love you, and then they treat you as though you're lovable, then you can trust who they say they are. But with abusive people, what happens is what they say and what they do are completely different things. So they can say, I love you, you're the only one for me, yet their actions towards you are abusive. So if they're not in line, what they're doing is not in line with what they're saying, then trust your gut instincts that they are not who they say they are. And stop projecting onto them that image that you have in your head that they are. See them for who they really are. Secondly, I'll just have a glass of water because I've got a cold at the moment. Secondly, stop projecting onto them who you think they might become in the future. You see, this is the problem. This is why we keep changing our behavior instead of letting them take accountability for their actions and their abuse towards us. Because we think, well, they're really this damaged person and I can see the vulnerable, nice person inside. So if I change my behavior, if I do this, then that person who I believe they can be in the future will be able to come out. I can fix them, I can rescue them, and then their nice guy, nice girl can come out of that damaged, wounded exterior. So we're dreaming and we're hoping that if we do this or that, or we can rescue them from themselves, then we can get the person we think and hope they can become. I hope that makes sense. But what that becomes is this futile waiting game for an image we've projected onto them that we think that they can become in the future. You have to accept somebody for who they are now. That's the definition of unconditional love, is accepting someone for who they are right now. So don't project onto somebody who you think they are. Stop projecting onto somebody who you think they might be in the future. And then thirdly, listen to your inner voice. What is your inner voice saying to you? Is it saying nice things? Is it saying things that, you would say to a very, very good friend in a respectful way, a nice way? Or is it being negative? Is it beating you over the head? Is it telling you you're no good and you're not good enough, you're not lovable? Instead of these negative things that your inner voice is saying, listen to it and call it out when it's saying things that are really, really negative. You see, there's a difference between saying, God, you're stupid. You just said something. You're such an idiot for saying that. My inner voice when I was young would do that to me all the time. It would berate me. It would criticize me. God, you're an idiot. You did something so stupid. Why did you say that, you fool? That sort of stuff. But there's a real difference between that and thinking, well, I'm not stupid. I just said something really dumb. Or I'm lovable. I'm beautiful. I just didn't do something very nice today. So it's basically owning your behavior accepting it and taking accountability for it as, something that might not have been the wisest thing to do. And you can learn from that and therefore improve your behavior. But it's doing that without saying, you are stupid, you are bad, you are unlovable. So listen to your inner voice. And if it's saying negative things that are really personal and hurtful and negative, call it out and change your language. And then the last thing is rewrite your script. We can change that, what that inner voice is saying. We can look at the script and what our story is that we have convinced ourselves we have about us, and just rewrite it. My story when I was young was that I was not good enough. And gradually, as I learnt to build up my self-esteem, and I learnt to really change the negative thought patterns I had about the criticisms I give myself, and just learn to be a bit more loving and nurturing and kind to myself, I gradually rewrote that script to realize that I am good enough. I am worthy. I am lovable. I'm not always perfect. Oh my God, my children tell me all the time when I do the most embarrassing things on earth. And I do them a lot, don't worry, trust me. But I can now distinguish what is behavior that I do that's not great and I can learn from, and the fact that does not mean I'm not a good person, and so just rewrite that story. Be kind to yourself. Don't be hard on yourself when you slip back and still have those negative thoughts come through. Because look, even after years and years and years of me working on my self-esteem, coming to terms with the fact that I was in an abusive relationship and processing why and recovering from that, even I could look at a photo and be surprised, because I've had that day where I was berating myself and going, oh, you're so ugly, you're unattractive, your hair's frizzy, you're horrible. What I should say instead is, you're beautiful. You're just having a really bad hair day. And that's the difference. So it was really good for me to see that photo, because I was able to call myself out and just check myself again that those little negative voices had been getting in my head again, and just called them out and realized that, I'm okay. I'm not that bad. I'm not ugly as I think I am. And I like to think that when I'm 90 and I look back at my younger self, which is me now in middle age, because I might feel like, oh, I'm getting wrinkly and my skin's sagging and I'm, not like I was when I'm 20. I'm sure when I'm 90, I'm going to look back and go, oh my God, why didn't you get how gorgeous you were back then? So if beauty is wasted on the young, I've decided I'm not going to waste it in middle age. I'm not going to go and think, gosh, I'm really ugly and unattractive. I'm going to think, no, you're beautiful. And just keep rewriting that script and telling that inner voice that's in my head to shut up. So that's it. I just wanted to share that lesson from me finding this photo and having a completely interesting reaction to it. So just remember, it's all just perception. It's like the blue and grey dress, which some people see as the gold and white dress. It's just perception. It's not always real, and you can change how you perceive yourself.